Well, here we are, everybody, returning to, of course, Gfriend, because that is what we're doing. Well, today we are going to be starting off with Love Whisper. And it seems like, if I'm lucky, all these are actually going to be all live versions, so that is actually really cool. So we're going to check this out. They've been pretty interesting thus far, and kind of continue to see them grow is always a fun thing. Let's see what they have in store for us this time, shall we? Going old school? Very tight snare. Okay, yeah. That was kind of cool. Sounds kind of a vibe. She's a great vocalist. Okay. Now, okay, the thing that I find so interesting about this group is their choreography is like very unseemingly athletic, which sounds weird to say, but it's kind of true. I just barely kind of noticed this now that we've been kind of like this deep into this particular era. The thing that I find so interesting is that when they are doing their steps, first off, it's like a lot of like poses. And then, but the thing that I find really interesting is that a lot of times they're really just hoisting their leg as high as they can in almost every instant. And the thing that I find so interesting is basically what that means is that this is a very physically demanding march almost. And this is where a lot of the um, compliments come in from, because I feel like that they have a very physically demanding choreography, but I think the interesting thing is that we are also seeing it done at an extremely smooth level. The level of which that, like, it seems like when they're doing it, it's very easy, but I feel like that this is a very physically taxing choreography. All of them, in a sense, it really have been. See what I'm saying? Like, very, very much so. Like, this is athletic. That is weird. Okay. For some reason, it froze up on me. And the funny thing is I have like no idea of any of their names thus far. Like, I don't know. I don't have any like anybody particularly that's standing out as a bias, but their vocalists, I have to say, winning me over. I think the thing that's interesting is, like, I was told that this is like an innocent period of their music, like that was the idea, that was the portrayal. But I think also too, elegance needs to be brought up. I think that they are actually very elegant in the way that they move. It's very cool. Okay, moving on, we have next Under the Sky. And I found a live pool party edition, apparently. Yeah, this should be pretty interesting to see how this is handled. Got full live stuff going on here. That's some good looking drums, that's good looking guitar. Let's see how they handle it. Great harmonies. She's a great vocalist. Oh, I love the live instruments. Inner problem. She has a very interesting voice too. Wow. What a venue. goodness. That's pretty good. You know, the interesting thing is to me about this particular performance is the fact that, like, with the real instruments, it gives new definition to how they sound, especially live. I think that a lot of times, like, the music that we've had from this era is really cool, but it's very nearly disco-esque in a lot of ways. It's like some disco, maybe a little bit of R&B, maybe, oh man, maybe even like you throw in like city pop in there. And this kind of just gives it a little bit more definition of what they kind of, and it really brings out the voices too. But it really brings out that definition. And I think one thing that's kind of crazy is if you listen to this, they are all like the same range. Like their harmonization is crazy because they all have the same tone of voice. And I feel like that's like the two big ways that groups are always composed, right? It's like you have two compositions of groups. You get the group where every person is kind of like in a different range. Like, for example, you can bring up Stray Kids. You know, Felix obviously known for having a deep voice. And, you know, there's people in their group that also have like really high voices that can kind of hit those higher notes. And then like the second composition is everybody is the same range. So it's like everybody's just kind of like here. So that way when you sing, you kind of get this resonance more than like a dissonance. And harmonizations, rather than being like almost like steps, it's just that flat linear feel. And it just kind of ends up making things feel a little bit more full in, you know, that particular tone. But their like vocalist here though is crazy. And it's kind of interesting too because everybody in the group is kind of like crystal tone and she's not. A little bit more of a dramatic voice, and again, it's kind of cool to have these little details that help them stick out. Very cool, very cool. Anyway, let's move on. And next, probably the song that was probably the most recommended, actually, behind maybe Nevillera, Rough. We have Rough, and I'm pretty excited to find out why. I already like the stage design here. Kind of gives that classic, you know, like ballroom kind of feel. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got here. That was cool. There's the leg movement. Okay. This song's a banger. That was cool. That was cool. Okay. There she goes. Very cool. Yo! Okay. We're going to have a little bit of a ranting story time for just a second, but I promise you it'll make sense. When I first started doing these 1 week clubs, I would say that there are some names that are extremely common to hear as highlights of for 1 week club, especially amongst girl groups. Mamamoo being one, obviously Girls' Generation SNSD being one, and Twice being one is one that I see brought up fairly frequently. And the interesting thing was, when I first did SNSD, I remember being told that their choreography was very iconic, and that the thing to look out for was their intricate use of step and leg choreography. Then I remember when I was talking about how good they were at dancing, that somebody brought up Twice and be like, just wait until you see like Momo dance. And the interesting thing is then I feel like that all of Twice's choreography was very hand heavy. A lot of arm movements, a lot of sweeping, a lot of very intricate use of the arms. So kind of like the reverse of SNSD. But the thing that I find so interesting is that, to me personally, and maybe this is kind of like what started this, but to me, it feels like Gfriend kind of like combines the two. A lot of really intricate hand movements, a lot of very, I would say, prominent use of legs. I mean, I think this is the first time that I could ever say that in a choreography, toe pointing was actually brought up. And I can't say that that's always been something that I've seen. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen actual toe pointing in a K-pop choreography. And, you know, the interesting thing is that when I was doing ballroom, rule number one always was that if your leg is off the ground, keep your toes pointed. That's why it was such a kind of like a, whoa, because they definitely have that here. But then you see them pulling in these poses and hitting these moves, and it really kind of just helps emphasize the storytelling behind the choreography. And of course, I mean, obviously, I can't go much further without talking about one of the most impressive things, and that is really hitting these set pieces with these poses here. And probably the top of the list here is where they hit this clock-like formation. Boom. That is such a cool shot. I was expecting this to maybe come in at some point because when you first start the or the song, they're dancing on a clock. So I think this is one thing that I really love about dancing. This is something that I truly just love to see is like soliloquies and parallels and whatever. And that means that they're striking this as a clock. So if you think about the fact that there is a horizontal clock, they are the vertical clock, creating a mirror image. And that's pretty cool. I really appreciate that as well, because it really just ends up creating more depth and texture inside of the dance itself. Yeah, and again, there's just some of these moves here that they hit that I'm just like, okay, this is a really good pose. And like even that right there, like very interesting decision with the hand movement here because it also kind of does a little bit of this clock formation. I also like the fact that like the whole song, sure, it has this kind of like flowy vibe. There is also like a clockwork kind of feel behind the whole of the choreography. I appreciate that a lot. This is actually a really cool choreography. This could probably be considered for me like an all time in terms of choreography. That is a very good choreography. Very, very cool. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this, and we'll discuss this down in the comments below. Thank you, and goodbye.